Yeah, coming to history optional, these things you take care. One thing is coming to our intense answer writing come test series program of history optional. I would like to tell you that if you go for the last how many years questions, yeah, you go for the last 5 years questions or 6 years question. I would say if you check paper 1, paper 2, paper 1 section A ancient India mapping, section B is medieval India, or similar way paper 2 is there is modern India and this world history. Okay, so if you check paper 1, paper 2 for the last 5 years PYQ questions, this is very clear that yes, usually the common folk say that history is having a huge vast syllabus and all. Okay, just fun it off. I would say yes, this vast nobody cares. Who cares says vast syllabus here. If you check the previous year's questions, I would say that 80% of the questions asked in the previous years, that is frequently being repeated. Have you noticed it? There are popular themes in every areas here. In ancient India module, some popular themes are there. Medieval India, some popular themes are there. Modern India, some popular themes are there. World history, some popular themes are there. Culture part, some popular themes are there. If you have prepared them very well, revised them very well, practiced them very well, definitely you can easily score 290 plus in history optional, I swear. You got my point, na? Vast syllabus, most of the people, they cry over that this is having a vast syllabus. But if you check the syllabus, you can see that 80% of the questions are repeatedly being asked. Am I right? Am I right? Some favorite topics are there which is repeatedly being asked, and since choice is there, yes, since there is optional questions are there, you have the freedom to select whichever is okay for you, whichever is not okay for you. You have the freedom of choice. Am I right? So don't worry about that. Here the most important thing is like, yes, you have to trace out, you have to find out what are the most commonly asked themes of this ancient, medieval, modern world, and you have to work upon it, and definitely you can score well from history optional. Okay. Second thing is like, yes, you have 10 marker questions, you have 20 marker questions. You have 10 marker, Rashid, 10 marker questions are there, 20 marker questions are there, means 2-page answers are there, 4-page answers are there. Am I right? And now the game is, is how to finish 10 marker questions and 20 marker questions perfectly. That matters a lot. Okay. This bluffing will not, you can do little bit of bluffing, but the entire paper is full of bluffing means, you can't cheat the examiner. You must have the key content also. Okay. And you can do little bit your own additional fittings. It is fine. It is fine. But you must have some core content, some key content in every theme. That is very important. So here, another important thing you have to take care is that, yes, you should have the idea of time management here. Okay, 10 marker questions, you have to finish in 2 pages. 20 marker questions, you have to finish in 4 pages. Am I right? 20 marker questions, 4 pages, 10 marker questions, 2 pages. So there is n number of practices that matters a lot. Now, multiple revisions. I would say, history optional is not about the tallal. If you think that I will talli miracle like anything, that will not work out here. You must have the content, for which revision matters a lot. You know the historiography, there is a branch called the historiography. The different ways of, approaching this written history, or there are different strategies, different ways of, studying this written history. So historiography, understanding the historiography. For example, what are different historians that talk about this nature of the Sangam society? What are the different historians' views on this Mauryan state? What are different historians' views on decline of Indus civilization? What are different historians' views on this transition of Rigvedic agrarian economy into urban economy, rural economy into urban economy? Or what are different views on this particular Guptan administration? Okay, different views on this agricultural evolution or evolution of agriculture in ancient times. So there are different historians, they have different views on these concepts. So understanding the historiography, that is also very much essential to write good answers, at least in paper 1. Am I right? Am I right? Yes, yes. So revision matters a lot. Then coming to ability to bring the historians. Again I say, when you talk about this, for example, the nature of the Mauryan state, or you say about Ashoka's Dhamma, or you talk about that Samudragupta's like extensive military expeditions, etc., or you say about that feudal character of Gupta administration, or you say about Vijayanagar and it's like a local self-government, anything. You must have solid, you have to substantiate your arguments with solid evidences given by the historians. Am I right? So you should have the ability of bringing historians and historians' views into answer. That is also a way of scoring in the history optional, especially in paper 1. You got my point now? Yes, there is historiography. There is, an art called limiting your sources. If you run after so many sources, that is just a funny game only. You will end up with nothing. You got my point now? Limit your sources. If you read Ubender Singh, fine, perfectly fine for ancient Indian historiography. If you read R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra and Shekhar Bandyopadhyay, I would say it's perfectly fine. Okay, you can do, I already giving you the material, ancient, medieval, modern world material I am giving you. In addition to that, you limit one source for one subject or one branch. For ancient India, you either fix with Ubender Singh or with R.S. Sharma. I would say go for Ubender Singh. Okay, for medieval India, Irfan Habib is there or this Satish Chandra is there. You see, any one test you fix. Modern India, Shekhar Bandyopadhyay is fine, I would say. Or Biban Chandra is fine, I would say. B.L. Grover is fine, I would say. Anything, anyone you fix. And for world history, Norman law or this, what is that one? Recently I suggested a one. What was that? What Chakravarti? For world history? Okay, if you don't have anything, just Norman law is fine here. Norman law is fine, or you can follow my material. That is enough. Okay, because history is history. No current affair updations are required. If you know the basic content very well, that much is enough. Then you should have art of answering it. Okay. Then there is stay away from this ends. Ends means negatives. There are lots of people in your surroundings. They may say that history is like this, like a bullshit. History is like apple's tail. History is like fans, like Valli. History is like this, bloody bullshits are happening in the society. That is just to promote their own optional. The people who promote sociology, they will say that history is a bullshit. The people who promote geography say that this is the tail of the monkey. People have different opinions. If you have confidence in yourself, just to stick on to it. In every year, if you check the first top 100 results, at least 15 to 20 people are with the history optional. And there are guys like Sudhir Sharma, etc. They scored with this. She was the first rank holder with the history optional. Okay, so just this bullshits which you are hearing in the surroundings, just to say, don't say anything. That is fine. That is fine. You stick on to your goal. There are so many people, scored 280, 290, 290 plus in history optional, and many people who scored 300 plus in history optional. So every option is pakka subjective here. Okay. Any guys who say that this is vast, this is like old, and this is that, and this, I would say fun it off. You got my point now? So what I say is like, what I say, I mean, if you have passion for this, stick on to it. You grab the soul of the history and you are a top scorer. You will be a top scorer. Okay. Don't try to compare with others. If you compare yourself with others, entire life will be left for comparisons only. Okay. You don't try to compare with others. What others are clinching on, what others are doing, what others are not doing. Don't do that. You must have confidence in yourself. You treat yourself as a superhero. Am I right? You treat yourself as a superhero. You always don't feel, what is that called? There is a word called, it's abusive word. That's why I'm not using in the class. Okay. What I said is like, don't call yourself that kind of thing. You must have confidence in yourself. Then only you can conquer the world. Okay. Alexander the Great, Einstein, or this Thomas Alva Edison, or this great personalities, even Rajinikanth, or this Kamal Hassan, or that Amitabh Bachchan, all these guys were first rejected. They got rejected. Then they become, like superheroes, or maybe they become the great personalities. Even the great Reverend APJ Abdul Kalam, rejected multiple times. But he had confidence in himself, or he had consistency in his passion, and he proven that yes, he is one of the superheroes. Am I right? So have confidence in yourself and to stick on to your goal, and you will achieve it here. Okay. Okay. Don't treat yourself as a slave of somebody. Don't try to underestimate your abilities here. Okay. So getting into the class, starting with the historiography, you must have, in your answer, you must have this, always you must have an open-ended conclusion for history answers. History is not like what is called having an absolute end, or it is not having a one-word conclusion here or a one-style conclusion. Every event of the history is approached by differently by different historians. So having a good understanding of different views of the historians in studying or in approaching this written history, that will give you a good edge over others in the history optional. So let us take one topic, which is Indus Valley civilization. What is that? Indus Valley civilization. There is a popular topic which is regarding this decline of Indus Valley civilization. Decline of Indus Valley civilization. Decline. There is a question which is about the decline of Indus Valley civilization. About the decline of Indus Valley civilization. What are the different views by the historians regarding this decline of Indus Valley civilization? Okay, there you can see that this Mortimer Wheeler and Gordon, they all say that Indus civilization is declined due to these Aryan invasions. Indus civilization is declined due to Aryan invasion. Then you can see that drying up of the Gaga river and increasing aridity, that is drought kind of the situation, drought kind of the situation, or increasing or losing this moisture of the soil due to this drying up of these rivers. That is a reason suggested by, yes, D.P. Agarwal and Sood. They quoted or they cited this is the reason for the decline of Indus civilization. This is the reason for the decline of Indus civilization. Then this Mackay and S.R. Rao, they suggested that flood is the reason. Flood is the reason for recurring floods in this Indus river and the Saraswati river, Gagra river and the tributaries. That is the reason for the decline of this Indus civilization. That is reason suggested by which person here? Mackay and S.R. Rao. Then there is Dales, Watsa and Lambriggs. They suggested low rainfall. Low rainfall is reason for the decline of Indus civilization. Low rainfall is reason for the decline of Indus civilization. Then you see that Fairchild quoted, yes, ecological disturbances. Ecological disturbances, that is a reason for deforestation or drying up of the rivers, or maybe this what is called degradation of the soil, or maybe losing the fertility of the soil. All those things, or environmental pollution due to this overcrowding, overpopulation, etc. That is a reason for this decline of Indus civilization. Rakes and Dales suggest that is earthquakes, natural calamities like earthquakes or these recurrent tectonic activities, reason for decline of Indus civilization. Then K.R. Kennedy, they suggest, yes, natural calamities responsible for decline of Indus civilization. Then ecological degradation cited by this Fair Service. Okay, M.R. Saini, subsequently followed by Robert Rakes, George Dales, they suggested floods at Mohenjo-daro caused by human error. So, suppose you imagine there is a question which is based on historiography and talking about, yes, decline of Indus civilization. In the answer, it is always nice to present at least to 4 to 5 historians and their views on the approaches of studying the decline of Indus civilization, how the different people studied the decline of Indus civilization. If you present this series, your answer will be scoring rather than general bluffing. You got my point now? So these ideas you should have. What are the different ideas presented by different historians? It is always nice to prepare a chart of this, historiography of ancient medieval India. Okay, this is something which is related to decline of Indus civilization. Different historians and how they approached the study of this decline of Indus civilization. Okay, and recent studies say, yes, a recent study which is titled as Neoglacial Climate Anomalies and Harappan Metamorphosis. It is done by an international team of scientists. They suggested climate change. The climate change is the possible reason for decline of Indus civilization. Climate change is the possible reason for the decline of Indus civilization. Okay, this idea should be very clear to you. Now, regarding the nature of the Harappan states, there are different views or different approaches of studying the nature of Harappan state. Okay, you see, R.S. Sharma, what is the opinion given by R.S. Sharma? One of the historian R.S. Sharma, his view is like this. Yes, the Harappan state is ruled by a class of that elite merchant class. It is ruled by a class of elite merchant class. That is a view presented by this R. Sharma. Okay, R. Sharma say, yes, this is Harappan state. Of course, it was ruled by, the Harappan state is ruled by a group of elite class of merchants. D.D. Koshambe, he presented this Harappan state was ruled by a class of priestly people, you know, or it is ruled by priestly class. Okay, the state is ruled by priestly class. Mortimer Wheeler presented it was highly centralized state, and it is ruled by a class of aristocratic priest. Aristocratic priest. Okay. Then Fairservice view is, it is not at all an empire. It is not at all an empire, not at all a state. Not an empire nor a state. In fact, elements of central control and class structure, you know, elements of central control and class structure was visible, fairly visible, but it was not an empire, it was not a state. That is a view presented by, it's a view presented by, yes, it is a view presented by Fairservice. Okay. Now, S.C. Malik, is he presented the view chiefdom state. It was not an empire, it was not a state, it was a chiefdom state. What was it? It was a chiefdom state, and it was based on this kinship society. Okay, it was based on the kinship, not a kingship, it is kinship. Kin is, you know, that relationships, you know, so kinship society. So these are different views presented by the historians with regard to the approaches of nature of this, or approaches of studying the nature of the Harappan state. You got my point? Got my point? So have an idea how this R. Sharma, D.D. Koshambi, Mortimer Wheeler, Fairservice and S.C. Malik, they approached this study of the nature of this Harappan state. All have different views. So these are the value additions. When others write a general answers, you know, when you present these key points, definitely your answer will be scoring. You got my point now? Now coming to another aspect, which is Rigvedic society. Rigvedic society. Yes, what was the you know, characteristic of this Rigvedic society, or how the society of Rigveda is assessed by different historians, especially, yes, let's go for R. Sharma and his views on Rigvedic society. What he says, see, nor organized on social divisions of labor nor wealth. His idea is Rigvedic society, it is not an organized society, is not having an organized structure, organized institutions are missing, and he says not organized on social divisions of labor, not organized on social divisions of labor, not organized on these wealth divisions. Okay, so that is his view. But he says that it was based on yes, kin, tribe and lineage. Kin, based on kin, tribe and lineage. According to R. Sharma, this Rigvedic society is not organized one, it was not organized on social divisions, or it was not organized on division of labor. Okay, it was not organized on social division of labor, it is not organized on this division of the wealth, but it was on basis of this kinship, it was on basis of that tribeship or the tribal identity, and it was on basis of that lineage. Okay, that was R. Sharma's perspective on the nature of this Rigvedic society. Now coming to R. Sharma's view, again presenting is Brahmin Kshatriyas managerial group collecting bali from the Vaishyas and labor from Shudras. Okay, these Brahmins and Kshatriyas are the dominant caste or dominant divisions of society. They are managerial groups, they manage the society, and that is on basis of collection of the bali, voluntary offerings from these Vaishya communities, Vaishya groups, and labor from these Shudras. Okay, so the most dominant class or maybe managerial groups of this Rigvedic society were these Brahmins and Kshatriyas, and they collected voluntary offering bali from these Vaishyas and the labor from the Shudras. Okay, that you take care, which is important. Okay, where it is important, you know, UPSC may ask a question like, yes, there is a question which is comparison between Rigvedic society, later Vedic society, or there can be a question like, what are the basic elements of the society of Rigvedic people, or the question can be like this, how the social institutions evolved from Rigvedic times to Mauryan times. Okay, different questions are there. So to answer this, you should know the fundamental structure of this Rigvedic society, and അത് വെറുതെ തള്ളിയാ പോരാ, എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കണം ഹിസ്റ്റോറിയൻസ് അതിനെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്തത് എന്നുള്ളൊരു വ്യൂ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ദിസ് ഇസ് വൺ ഓഫ് ദ വ്യൂസ്. Now coming to megalithic age, you know, that is Stone Age, and some places, you know, it is identified as the Iron Age, you see. So stone, megalithic age and the Iron Age, you see that different views by the historians. Yes, coming to megalithic age, you try to understand. R. Sharma, his opinion is like coming to megalithic and Iron Age, you know. So Iron Age is mostly, you know, it's something between 600 500 BC, or that is the age of that, you know, or it happened from 1000 BC to these 500 600 BC. And of course the megalithic cultures almost this time happen in different parts, but we know that the biggest concentration is in the Deccan Peninsula. Am I right? Now coming to R. Sharma's opinion, yes, R. Sharma says that this megalithic age is characterized by, yes, use of these iron axes. Use of iron axes is eventually leading to deforestation, cutting down of the trees for this rapid scale agricultural production, agricultural activities. And when there is expansion of agricultural activities, what happened is like it generated surplus income or surplus produce. That surplus produce eventually led to that growth of commerce, trade and commerce eventually led to second time urbanization happening in Indian subcontinent. Okay, that is a view presented by this R. Sharma. Okay, with the very iron discovery, this changes happened. This changes happened in Indian subcontinent. With the iron axis, you know, more trees are cut down or forests are cleared, deforestation. Then you see that more agricultural expansion, surplus produce promoting these growth of trade and commerce and guild system, eventually leading to that rise of cities and towns, and second phase of urbanization happened. This is his views regarding that Iron Age. Now Rajan Gurukul presented a view. Yes. This is not about a megalithic, this is about that particular age. Okay, megalithic Iron Ages. Okay, megalithic and Iron Ages, and these megalithic Iron Ages, it is not uniformly happened in Indian subcontinent. We started from this 1000 BCs to 500 600 BCs, or we say that when it is 500 600 BCs, when we say 500 600 BCs, it was an age of second urbanization. It was an age of these Mahajanpadas, and Mahajanpadas, due to this R. Sharma, it is because of this discovery of iron axes, okay, iron materials, iron tools, and with the help of that there is cutting down of clearing of the forest regions, expansion of agriculture, and 100% or 100 times like you know, growth of this agricultural produce, then leading to this trade and commerce to urbanization. Okay, that is not about megalithic culture, that is about the second urbanization during this Iron Age, which is by R. Sharma. Now see, Rajan Gurukul presented iron flusher restricted to these wetlands only. That is his view. He says that okay, it is, see, coming to history optional, the point is, you know, if you are a teddy bear and you are a historian, I would say whatever you say is correct. Okay, this is another teddy bear and you are a historian, you say this, I say absolutely correct. You are another historian, I would say, or you would say something, I would say you are absolutely correct. That is the problem with the history. Different historians, you know, sometimes you may feel that these two historians have contradictory opinions. You see that Romila Thapar and this you know, Panikkar, they may have different opinions, or V.S. Smith and this Marshall may have different opinions. But the thing is, like history is, you know, it is all about the different ways of approaching this way the historical sources are written. You know, the approach is different. That doesn't mean that the views of one historian is wrong. You got my point now? Rajan Gurukul says iron plowshare restricted to wetlands. D.D. Koshambi, Aryan's migration to, not a tomb, you know, that is my like a typing error. You see, Aryans to east, that means Aryan migration to east. These Aryan guys, you know, they migrated to East India, that is to exploit these iron mines of the South Bihar. That is to exploit these iron mines of this, because this East is known for many of its rich deposits of these you know, minerals and these natural resources. Am I right? So they say, Koshambi says Aryans migrated to Eastern India from 1000 BC onwards. Okay, one of the reasons they suggested is, yes, they wanted to exploit these iron mines of South Bihar. Also they say that this Magadha become Magadha Mahachanpada, it become so dominant due to this iron presence. Okay, these are views presented by Koshambi. So when you say about this Mahachanpadas, when you say about this Aryan migration to East, when you say about the dominance of Magadha, this historian can be quoted. This historian can be quoted. Okay, so you will get extra half marks, you know, because examiner will get an idea that, okay, this guy is having solid idea on this particular aspect. Okay, okay. Now coming to what was the type of Mauryan state, different opinions by different historians regarding, yes, the what kind of this state was Mauryan state. Okay, yes. So you just look into this, how Romila Thapar or this Panikar or Kumarasamy or V.S. Smith, how they presented this nature of this Mauryan state. Just write it down, then I will explain. Now coming to explanation part, you see Romila Thapar and what she says. What she says, she initially presented the Mauryan Empire as a new form of government marked by centralized control and planning. You know, she presented this Mauryan Empire as a new form of government, as a new form of government marked by centralized control and planning, Now she suggests the empire should be considered as consisting of metropolitan core and peripheral areas. Metropolitan having group of large cities, you see, metropolitan core and peripheral areas. So her state is consisting of metropolitan core and peripheral areas. It's a combination of metropolitan core and peripheral areas. Now Magadha was metropolitan state. According to her, an example for metropolitan is Magadha. Okay. Then core areas included existing states and these newly formed states, or the states in the beginning form, you know, newly formed states, and also centers of trade, existing states and newly beginning states, all is forming that core part, that is forming the core part. Then peripheral areas included number of these pre-state societies. Okay, so according to her, yes, this Mauryan state was a combination of metropolitan core and peripheral states. Okay, and she says the relationship between metropolitan state core and peripheral, you know, it varied from place to place. Okay, so Mauryan state is actually, she says it is consisting of metropolitan core and peripheral areas. Metropolitan having huge cities, huge towns and all those establishments, you know. Core means which is having existing states and newly formed states and this centers of trade, that is core areas. And peripheral means which is having a number of pre-state societies. This combination is Mauryan state according to Romila Thapar, and relationship between these three things, you know, that varied from place to place or time to time or king to king. Okay, according to her. Now see, this Gerard Fersman, he says, or he questions the unitary and centralized nature of the Mauryan state. He questions the unitary and centralized nature of, I mean, he is against that centralized nature of the Mauryan state. He is against, for him it is more decentralized. Okay, so the centralized nature or the so-called what is called this unitary structure, that is questioned by him, and he never relies on that Arthashastra concepts and all. Even in Arthashastra they talks about a parliamentary form of government, republican form of government, people's governments, etc. Then there is chances of being decentralized, you know, according to this Gerard Fassman. Okay, that so for him the unitary and centralized nature is questioned of the Mauryan state is questioned. Okay, and he does not accept this Arthashastra as a source, but he relies to Indica and relies to Ashokanetics. He relies to Indica and relies to Ashokanetics, which more or less presenting a decentralized nature of the state. Okay. Now there is another view. That view is, it is diffused tribal state. Mauryan state is a diffused tribal state. Yes, please write down. Then I will explain. You done this? Done this? Okay, fine. So diffused tribal state. This is an idea presented by, yes, J.C. Heisterman. He is an Indologist. Okay, he is an Indologist, and it is J.C. Heisterman. Yes, he says that, yes, Mauryan state is actually, you know, yes, he presented Mauryan state, a transition state here. It's a transition state. It's a transition state trying to balance between tribal autonomy and central control. Okay, it says that it's a transition state. It's a transition state, and that transition state is trying to balance between tribal autonomy and central control. You know, tribes, you know, spread all over the geography. So there is tribal control, tribal autonomy plus this central control. Tribal autonomy plus central control. This is a transition state between the tribal autonomy and central control. That is something, a nature of this Mauryan state, which is described by the Indologist J.C. Heisterman. It's a presentation by him, okay. And he says neither the king all powerful nor the empire was centralized. So he also presented the idea that the empire is not centralized and the king is not all powerful. It's actually a transition state trying to balance between tribal autonomy and what? And what? Central control. Okay, this is idea presented by J.C. Heisterman. Hari Prasad Shastri. Yes, now this is coming to reasons for the decline of this Mauryan empire. Why declined? It's a question, big question. Why declined? Different reasons are there. So that is Hari Prasad Shastri's view is like it is Brahminical revolution. Reason is because of Brahminical revolution. Brahminical revolution happened because of Ashoka's Dhamma. Dhamma is largely responsible. Dhamma, you know, it was against the rituals, it was against the sacrifices, okay, it was against that Brahminical, you know, priesthood dominance, etc. So that is why they say, Hari Prasad Shastri says, Brahminical revolution is responsible for the decline of this Mauryan empire, because Brahminical revolution is because of that Dhamma policy of Ashoka, or ban on rituals and sacrifices, ban on the priesthood dominance, etc., because of which Brahminical revolution happened. That is the reason for the decline of this Mauryan empire. This coup organized by Pushyamitra Sangha. Pushyamitra Sangha was a Brahmin ruler. Am I right? The founder of that Sunga dynasty. Am I right? Then V.S. Smith, you know, he says it is because of weak successes after Ashoka. Weak successes after Ashoka is responsible for decline of Mauryan empire. Then H.C. this Ray Chowdhury says Ashoka's pacifist policy. Ashoka's pacifist policy is responsible for decline. Romila Thapar also says a centralized nature of administration is responsible for decline. So there are different views and different approaches on study of decline of Mauryan empire by different historians. You see, yes, the view of Hari Prasad Shastri is Brahminical revolution is responsible for this decline of Mauryan empire. Then this V.S. Smith says it is because of the weak successes after Ashoka. Then H.C. Ray Chowdhury says yes, Ashoka's pacifist policy is responsible. Then Romila Thapar says it is the centralized nature of state. Okay, so different theories presented. That is to you know, express how the state is declined, why the state is declined. Okay. Then there are views on this Sangam society. Okay, the historiography of Sangam society. Yes, different views. You just write down. Now coming to the Sangam society, regarding the true nature of the Sangam society, different views are there. Yes, George L. Hurt, what he presents, what he says, Untouchability originates in the south. Do you think? Do you support this belief? He says this untouchability actually originated in the south, then it traveled to north. Some say that it originated in the north, then it traveled to south. For example, some believe it's from Rigveda, it's from Purusha Sukta Mandala, the 10th chapter of the Rigveda. The Varna system is, like being conceived, from which the so-called Chadurvarna system, caste system, untouchability, etc. started. That is the belief of the most of the historians. But according to this George Hutt, he believes untouchability is a practice which originally started from the south and gradually it traveled to north and it is spread across the north geopolitics, So that is the view presented by yes, George Hutt. Okay. Now see, yes, Vijay Ramaswamy says economic importance of women, that is duly accepted in the Sangam literature. Economic importance of the women. According to him, yes, women was engaged in harvesting, cattle rearing, dairy farming, spinning, and there is no reference to women weavers. That is also a comedy. Because we know that the Kanchipuram silk sarees or the weaving industry, spinning industries, it's a century-old traditions of the south. But according to this Vijay Ramaswamy, says that women empowerment is discussed in the Sangam poetry, Sangam literature, and women empowerment especially in the economic activities, you see that reflected. That is in harvesting, women engaged or being employed in harvesting, cattle rearing, dairy farming, or in spinning, but there is no reference to women in weaving industry. Maybe mostly weaving started by the men. Can be a chance that initially the weavers were men, later on it transmitted to women. Chance, okay. So that's a presentation by this Vijay Ramaswamy. That's it. So few ideas which is definitely helpful for enriching your answers that presented today, and now we will discuss today's answer. The question is given, one of you please read it out. We will discuss on its value additions. So every day we will be having a little bit of historiography, then we will discuss, next day we will discuss on the important themes of each modules. Okay, tomorrow we will do that.